I just can't keep away from baseball games, I guess. There were just so many baseball games made back in the day, it's ridiculous. And I still have a few more of them, so I figured why not cover the rest of them and be done with it. In the first video, I covered the Odyssey 2 game, but this time I'm going to take a look at some of the other baseball releases on their competitors' platforms. Since I actually sort of enjoyed Odyssey 2 baseball, I'm now left wondering if it was just a fluke or if I actually secretly like baseball games. We're starting off with Atari's Home Run on the 2600. And yeah, I'm already thinking it's the former. One question, where are the outfielders? The batter is actually at the top of the screen this time, meaning that the outfield should be at the bottom of the screen. As you can clearly see though, there's no one there. How do you play a baseball game without an outfield? Well, the answer is not well, but I'll come back to that thought in a moment. First, let's talk about the controls. Rather than use the button as the batter, you actually move the joystick in any direction other than center to swing the bat. You would think this means that using different directions would hit the ball at different angles, but no, every direction seems to just make it go to various degrees of straight down.
Oh, it's swinging with this. Okay.
Yeah, you swing with that. That's what it meant, like whether you hit up, down, left, or right,
okay.
kind of determines how you hit it, even though I hit it in like almost all four directions. It just kind of felt like it went to the same few spots.
Similar to the Odyssey 2 game, this means there aren't any opportunities to hit a foul ball, which is kinda nice, but it also makes batting feel incredibly boring. It seems completely binary. You either hit the ball or you don't. If you do get a hit, it seems like the length and direction of the hit come down to some internal dice roll. If there's any technique to batting, Zayden and I couldn't figure it out.
So, yeah, that's just like I was like, okay.
That's the most ridiculous thing.
As the pitcher, pressing the button throws the ball, and pressing it while holding a direction on the joystick allows you to perform a different kind of throw. Holding up throws a fastball, pulling back throws a slow ball, and left and right throw curves. It's nice that they gave the pitching player more options, but that's where the fun of playing the fielding team ends. Oh, and did I just say team? Yeah, I'm pretty sure you need to have more than one player to be a team. Once the batter hits the ball, you have to move the pitcher to try and catch it and then tag the runners, all by yourself. And yeah, that's tagging the runners, or making every molecule in their bodies instantaneously vanish from existence, whichever you prefer. The real problem occurs when you miss the ball. If it leaves the screen and flies into the non-existent outfield, you're forced to just sit there and watch as any runners on base get to move an indeterminate amount of bases. Sometimes it's just a single, sometimes it's a home run. Who or what is behind this decision? I never did figure it out, and I don't really care enough to spend more time seeking out that answer.
Alright.
Did I get a home run or something? Where's the
I
ball?
think so. I don't know. I guess that was the home run. Home run.
Wow.
There are 8 games in total, 4 single player and 4 multiplayer. Let's take a quick look at one of the other game modes. Wait, who's that guy? I mean, he's way too close to be a shortstop, right? Is that a second pitcher? He just kind of sits there doing nothing until the batter hits the ball, at which point you control both pitchers to... What just happened? Did he just vanish? Seriously, who is this guy? The ghost of baseball past? Sometimes he just disappears, and sometimes your pitcher does, leaving you with just the extra dude. I don't get it. Home Run's definitely not the worst Atari 2600 game I've played, but it might be in my top 10. I'm pretty sure this is the most dumbed down a baseball game can possibly be, which will disappoint any actual baseball fans looking for a proper simulation. It plays more like a weird arcade-style game with vague baseball themes, which sounds like something I would prefer, but there's a problem there as well. It's not fun. When I said in the last video that the word butchered could be applied to many of the sports games from this era, this is exactly the sort of game I was thinking of. Let's move on to the Intellivision and see what Mattel Electronics can do with more powerful hardware with Major League Baseball, the first ever licensed sports game. This was one of the first examples of Mattel's plan to use the Intellivision's advantages to hit Atari where they felt their competition was lacking most, sports games. Well, the graphics are certainly a huge step up, and there's an outfield. We're off to a good start already. Given that the Intellivision controllers have 2 action buttons, the player currently at bat has a dedicated bunt button in addition to a regular swing. This doubles your batting options and therefore adds more strategy to that portion of the game, so that's kinda cool. When pitching, you now have 8 different throws that you can perform based on which direction on the D-disc you press. It's a bit difficult to remember which direction corresponds with what pitch, but it's not bad to have the extra options. Stealing bases is also more fun in this game than any of the previous titles due to having complete control over your runners. Letting off the D-disc means your runners will come to a complete stop at any point, and you can even have them run back to a previous base. Being able to have your runners stand just off base and make the next run easier without drawing the fielding team player's attention is actually a pretty fun risk versus reward mechanic. Oh, and it even has a voice sample that says, "You're out." Sure, it's super compressed and hard to understand, but that was a really big deal back in the day. And unfortunately, those are really the only positives I can think of. Pitching, batting, and even running are fine. In fact, they're arguably better here than in any of the previous baseball games I've played, at least from a simulation standpoint. But the problem is once again with the outfield, though here it's the complete opposite of home run. Instead of having an outfield that's so basic that it doesn't even exist, MLB complicates the entire thing to a ridiculous degree.
Oh, no, you gotta go move it now.
So do I have to make him run all the way down there? Hey, can I throw it? Can I throw it somewhere? Do I just have to chase you? And of course you're safe now, so...
So now what?
Does it reset if I just stop moving? Or did I not get the ball?
I don't know.
I don't know how to throw it.
Before I can talk about that though, let me show you the overlay for this game and how it works. This is the overlay for MLB. Ignore its advanced state of degradation for a moment. What's important here is that each number on the keypad corresponds with a player on the field. You can take control of any of these players at any time by pressing their key. Once a player has the ball, pressing a key makes them throw to the newly selected player. Makes sense so far, right? Well, now imagine trying to do that while watching the screen to see which player you need to switch to next in order to stop the runners.
The pitch. Did I not switch to that dude?
Oh, I gotta run.
No, I missed
I'm
it.
gonna keep going.
And then can I throw it over there? No, that's not throwing it. There it goes.
Okay.
Throw it to this dude. And then throw it back here, right?
Can I just... What's happening now?
I guess you could just keep going. Maybe I don't understand the rules of baseball enough. I'm like, if I have the ball to pitch it again, then he's good, right? I'm like, no, I have to...
I just noticed...
Okay, I have to do that, maybe?
So
Let's try one of these.
So if I bunt, what happens there?
Does that count as make? Is that end? I'm like, what ends the? Like, what ends the thing? Okay,
okay,
you're right.
There we go. See, that's already one of the problems. It's like you have to keep looking down at your controller to figure, like, what
you're
does
doing.
What?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, that's so you got to keep looking down, and because you have to manually reset everything, it feels less video gamey in a way.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's a good thing. No, I make
Okay,
it.
that was. I'm
like,
like 9.
yeah, like it's,
2.
yeah, it's like
9,
you gotta okay, where do I need to throw it?
Throw it. Throw it to 8. Throw it to 8.
Yeah, and then I don't get why sometimes it's like you move instead of throwing it to the...
Yeah.
Oh, and there's zero automation on the fielding team. Every fielding player just stands there like a deactivated robot, waiting for you to take control of them. So, by the time you see which direction the ball was hit, find the closest player on screen to get it, look down at the controller to find out which number that player corresponds with, press the key, move the player over to where the ball landed, because you have almost no hope of catching the ball before it lands, see where the runners are, decide where you want to throw the ball to, look back down at the controller to see which key you need to press for that player, and press it, the runner or runners have already taken multiple bases. On top of that, If the player controlling the runner decides to take an additional base before the ball gets to the player that you selected, that's another time you have to look down at the controller and find the right key to throw to. If you take too long doing that, they're going to go to the next base again. It feels like you're constantly one step behind the runner. Also, you need to make sure that you didn't move the fielder that you wanted to throw to earlier, because rather than have the key press throw to where the player is currently located, they'll throw it to the location where they were supposed to be. This means that you can throw it back to a player and it'll soar right past them if you don't have them in the right position, just waiting for the ball.
Yes, you're right, you can't really move.
Oh. I caught it, but that doesn't count, I guess. Who did he throw it to? Oh, no. Oh, no.
So, yeah.
Pick it up!
It's very bizarre.
No, 1.
I don't know if that's worth going for.
5. No, where's 5 going? Oh, I'm controlling. Oh, no.
Okay, you stay there so that
7.
you don't get hit.
Okay.
Having the player snap back to their position after you switch to another fielder would have fixed this, but I guess Mattel really wanted you to have full control during the game. Automation? Ha! Who needs that? MLB really is the best baseball simulation that I've played so far, and the keypad control scheme seems like a good idea in theory, but it's really a convoluted control mess to actually use. You could theoretically get used to the complex fielding controls, but in my admittedly short playtime, I didn't improve at all by the end, and I wasn't compelled to try to get better.
So I can certainly see that, in a way, it's a interesting simulation.
Yeah.
It does help simulate a lot of the finer details of baseball, like stealing bases and the need for coordination, but usually, you don't play the entire team at once.
Yeah.
It really feels like Odyssey 2 Baseball is the best of the bunch. It's far more accurate to the sport than Atari's Home Run, but there's no awkward control scheme to have to memorize just to have fun playing it. Baseball games would continue to be produced on basically every console and home computer from this point onward. Shortly after this era, they'd really stop experimenting and just stick to a more standardized format similar to Nintendo's baseball on NES, with graphical improvements, new ball physics, and team roster changes being the most common additions. I'm going to stop here though, mainly because I don't own any more baseball games and have no interest in spending the money on them. That, and there's only so much baseball I can take. Now if you'll excuse me, I need to go clear my head with some Pac-Man or something.